Hey there, coaches. How are you doing? So I thought I would just jump in here with my coffee and have a conversation with you guys because I was just really inspired after a conversation I was having with an amazing client of mine who is just absolutely nailing her business, just rocking her results. And we were having a conversation this morning about the biggest shift that has to really happen in order for you to get results in your business, and the the fact that mindset is the biggest, the most critical sticking point, I guess, that most of us, I'd say 95% of us, 99% of us, in fact, has to go through kind of and push past mindset blocks in order to create this success. And the stats. Hey, Christine, good to see you. The statistics. 80% of your success in anything, in any endeavor, is down to your psychology, your mindset. 20% is the method, the mechanics, the strategy, but 80% of your success in any endeavor is your mindset. And so the conversation I just want to have this morning, and sort of inspired on the back of this client call, was who's actually running your business? And there are two kind of factors, two kind of not alter egos, I don't want to call it that, two sides to you that is potentially kind of vying up against each other. And this is what I've called your inner child versus your inner being. So the inner child shows up, and I'm not kind of going into semantics about, there's people out there, healers who have a definition of the inner child. What I'm referring to just in this live stream, when I talk about your inner child, is that that part of you that protects herself, that part of you that gets triggered by circumstances, people, situations out there. When that stuff comes in, it triggers you. It could be a conversation, it could be a word, it could be the way somebody says something, but your inner child is that little girl who many moons ago had an experience that she didn't know how to process because she didn't have that kind of capacity, the intellectual capacity yet. But that little girl, she had an experience, it created some locked in energy. She didn't process that experience, and as a result, it's created a pain body, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, or Michael Singer refers to it as your stuff. When your stuff gets hit, it's your old triggers being activated by whatever's going on outside of you. So it's not actually the situation, the people, the circumstances that are creating that, making you feel that way, but it's your old triggers, your old stuff being hit. So that's what I mean by your inner child. When she gets triggered, she takes over and starts driving your decisions, driving your behaviors. She starts directing how you feel and then how you think. And if you don't believe me, just think about, when you dive into the biscuit barrel, or when you just think, I'm done, and stick Netflix on for a binge fest in the middle of the afternoon, or where fear steps in and you hold yourself back from hit and go live when you had every intention of going live and pushing past your fear. But on this particular moment, the fear got too much and you decided, I'll do it tomorrow. Procrastination, not feeling creative, talking yourself down from the ledge of doing something, leaping into your next level of fear, or up level. All of that is that inner child feeling the fear, triggering some old memory, somatically held memory, that is driving your decisions in that moment. And so it's powerful because that's what stops you from moving forward. That's the stuff that gives you the information that says, do you know what, it's not going to work, I'm not good enough, I can't make this work, I've never been able to do it before, so why now? It's all that bullshit. So that's where the inner child, she steps in. All she's trying to do is protect you. So you could call this is fear operating your business, or this is the ego operating the business. The inner child is all about protection, keeping you safe. But with that comes playing small, comes, keeping everything guarded, making sure that you're just operating within this really small, safe paradigm. And that's where you feel frustrated, because there's so much more to you. You know that there's all this untapped potential, unleashed genius inside of you. You have that knowing. But the little, the inner child is just protecting, keeping you safe and keeping you boxed into these limitations. So that, it has a profound effect on your business. It has an utterly profound effect on your ability to move forward. I know. I've had to deal with this inner child, and there's so many different nuances, but I've had to push through, so many different aspects of fear and doubt and lack of self-belief and all of that. Versus, let's talk about the inner being. Who is your inner being? How can you tap into this inner being part of you? Well, the inner being is your knowing. It's your truth, essentially. It's the truth of who you are. Your inner being is connected to all that is. Your inner being is that knowing what you're capable of, that connection to your source energy, that knowing that whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve it because you're you, and you have absolute no need to doubt or no need to question your worthiness. So your inner being is that state of just absolute alignment, absolute knowing. And when you're connected to your inner being, you are literally tuned in to your highest self. So you have access to creativity, to inspired downloads. You feel like, let me just backtrack, you're having fun. It's a state of being where you're just having fun. You're enjoying yourself. You're not attached to every outcome. You're not kind of worrying about, will there be enough money for me to pay the bills by the end of the month? You just know it'll be there. You have this ultimate trust. And so when you allow your inner being to be running the show, you're playing big. Because playing big really means that your actions are being driven by motivations such as fulfillment, such as satisfaction. You're being driven by the desire to contribute. You're being driven by the desire to create greater connections, to make a difference, to grow. You're willing to feel uncomfortable in the short term in order to make your mark, to create impact. So playing big is really connected to your inner being, because your inner being is limitless, understands that you live your life in a context of infinite potential, infinite possibility. And when you're operating from your inner being, you're connected to all of that. So inner child is where we operate a lot of the time, fear. Inner being is where we really want to spend most of our time, and that's love. So how? The big question is, how do I get out of inner child into inner being more and operate from that, that really aligned place? Well, I should tell you how. The first thing to do is, you can't this isn't about just spiritual bypassing, all the internal traumas or the triggers. We're not bypassing that and sticking a happy sticker on it and ignoring it and just focusing on just being happy all the time, because it's almost like you're pouring spraying perfume on the toilet. Now, it's a really horrible analogy, but that's the only one that came to mind. I'm connected to source. That's what came in. It's basically pouring something nice onto crap. You do not want to do that. So I'm not talking about spiritual bypassing. But so in order to kind of shift out of inner child running the business to more inner being running your business, so you're more in alignment, you're having more fun, you're enjoying the process, you're more in the moment. You've got to, whenever you get triggered, whenever you have that feeling that comes in, you know, for me, it used to be live streaming. This was my biggest nemesis. Using my voice, being authentic, just relaxed on a live stream was my biggest nemesis. I just could never imagine myself ever doing this. It was the fear of all fears. So as I started, and this was, you know, I've been in my business now since 2015. So really 2016 was when I really started to kind of nail this. But when you get triggered, when you think about that thing that you know you really want to do because it's going to scale your business, it's going to help you grow, it's going to help you create more impact. When you think about that thing and you get that feeling in your body, it's a visceral feeling, whether that's like a tightening in your throat. I know a lot of people get a constriction in the throat. It could be, you know, a feeling of real dense energy in your solar plexus. It could be you feel your heart contract. It could be anything. You could get your, you know, your shoulders might ache. It's anything somatically that happens that triggers you and makes, and then feeds your brain with that, no, danger, we're not going here. Anytime you get that feeling, instead of trying to brush it off and ignore it, you actually want to go into it. It's not pretty, it's painful, but it's the quickest way and the most effective way that you can shift and release that blocked energy and let that pain body go. Relax and release. So you go into it, you acknowledge that this is your inner child, you know, freaking out because she's suddenly feeling threatened. So you acknowledge, you give her a term of endearment, you know, it's okay, sweetheart, your feelings are valid. You know, just give her that acknowledgement, but you've got to sit in it and hear it and feel it and listen to it. When I used to do this, and especially with my, you know, when I had debt was a huge trigger for me. So whenever I used to sit in the feeling when I thought about debt, what actually happened was once the first really intense triggers started to disperse, the first really intense emotion started to disperse, what then came up was the beliefs that were underneath it. So it's hugely powerful for self-awareness. You release that first layer of pain that you self-avoid, you know, constantly. Just go there, and then you'll get the belief. And the beliefs could be, you know, literally, I'm not good enough, or people won't like me, or I'll be rejected, or I'm a loser, or I'm out of control. I'm saying all these things because these were things that came up for me. So all of that stuff came to the surface. Then I knew what I was working with. Then I knew what needed to be rewritten and rewired and recoded and all of that. So you've got to allow that stuff to come up. Once it's come up, then you can let it go. Then you can start to focus on your inner being work. So it's, you know, and the inner being work, I always sort of ask the question when I'm talking to my clients in this way, and I always think, you know, imagine operating from your inner being, and what would you be doing differently if you were completely aligned with your inner being? You know, and the type of things people say to me, you know, oh my God, I'd be having more fun, I'd be in flow, I'd be tapped into my creativity, I'd be productive, I'd just be fearless, I'd be showing up using my authentic voice. All these amazing truths start emerging. So connect to your, you know, do the work on your inner being, inner child, clear out those inner blocks. Don't ignore them, don't self-avoid by, you know, eating and binge watching Netflix or just procrastinating. You've got to tap into that and let it go, then connect to your inner being. And it's so powerful, and it will enable you to move mountains in your business. I promise you, this work is so powerful. Okay, guys, so I just wanted to share that and come in here and say hi to you. Hope you're having an amazing day. And if you've got questions or, you know, comments, then please pop them below. As always, I'd love to hear from you. And I shall speak to you all again soon. I'm going to finish my coffee now and crack on. Have a good day, guys.